Hello and welcome to a new episode of our award-winning MVP, the Master's Voice podcast from Mediabrief.com. I'm your host and friend Pawan R. Chawla, founder-editor of Mediabrief.com, and I'm delighted to welcome a young leader, scion of undoubtedly the first family of preparation training that helps bright aspirants crack the most difficult of the entry exams in India for the IITs and the medical entrances. So please join me as I welcome Keshav Maheshwari, Managing Director, Allen Overseas, who today is driving further growth for the family business across the world. Keshav, welcome to this episode of the Master's Voice podcast.
Thank you so much, Pawan sir, for having me here. It is an honor to be here today and to explore all the possibilities of knowledge, all the possibilities of thoughts in this industry. And I am very excited as this is my first ever podcast. And it will be a great learning experience for me to have a discussion with you on various aspects of different businesses. So thank you so much.
You're very kind and very gracious. And the best teachers or the best facilitators for teaching, so to speak, are the ones who are always in learning mode. And I think you are right up there, in terms of being part of the most successful family that has been empowering more than 2 million students, I think. But we'll talk about that. And thank you very much for being on the show. And thanks also to Mangala Bhattacharjee and Aparna Desikan from AdFactors PR for having made this interaction possible. So Keshav, before we continue, please allow me to introduce you to my listeners. My distinguished guest in this episode is Keshav Maheshwari, Managing Director at Allen Overseas and a whole-time executive at Allen Career Institute. Keshav is a dynamic and accomplished second-generation entrepreneur from the renowned Maheshwari family, which is the force behind the Allen Career Institute of Kota. And as you're aware, they are the pioneers who made Kota the mecca of IIT coaching. Keshav himself has walked in the footsteps of his illustrious father, Sri Govind Maheshwari, and has been instrumental in driving the company's overseas expansion. Keshav has successfully launched Allen in the GCC market and is expanding the footprint there as Managing Director, Allen Overseas. With 7 physical centers already in operation, right? 3 in Dubai and 1 each in Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Muscat and Kuwait. Allen is set to further expand its presence by opening 3 more centers in the coming months. So, great, quick progress indeed. And this expansion will not only provide quality education to more students, but also create job opportunities as it plans to hire more than 100 more people at the current and new centers. Driven by a keen interest in family business, a passion for innovation, and a solid focus on success, Keshav is constantly reinventing his journey. And at each step, he also makes sure he seeks advice and guidance from the family as well as the larger community on LinkedIn. And we will speak about how he and the rest of his esteemed family members have worked so wonderfully well with such great cohesion for such amazing impact. Great way of truly running a wonderful family-run business. Keshav is very active and approachable on LinkedIn, as I said, where he runs the Keshav Connect and discusses life, learnings, and the journeys of a second-gen entrepreneur. And yes, Keshav is not just a young business growth-driven leader and Turk, but also someone who enjoys music, loves singing, and in his spare time or at some special occasions, he likes to sing to convey his feelings. So that's briefly about Keshav Maheshwari, Managing Director, Allen Overseas, my distinguished guest on this episode of MVP, the Master's Voice podcast from Mediabrief.com. And I'm very, very happy to say this is our first video podcast also. And Keshav, thank you for gracing it. So welcome once again. And now let's begin our conversation. Right. So Keshav, my first question to you is longish question, but let me just put it to you. As a second generation entrepreneur, tell me what went into deciding for you that you would want to take the baton from your family elders and grow Alan rather than explore something new on your own? Of course, it was the biggest and best player in its space, still is. But still, were you always inclined to helping students? In your early days, you were a tutor to 7 to 10 standard students, right? So tell me about the early days and how you decided and why you decided that you would join the family business.
Well, as a child, I have seen Alan grow to great heights. I've been a part of Alan as a family member. I've been a part of Alan as a student, and now I'm finally a part of Alan in the executive capacity. So, since childhood, I've seen how deliberately my father and my uncle have worked hard to build what it is today, and how it has created a deep positive impact on the lives of aspiring students. And as a second generation, I recognize that there is immense value that Alan has created over the last so many years in the field of education. I have had my fair share of exploring new industries, different industries, before I became a part of the business. But what I saw in the business was a transforming effect in the lives of the students, and that has fueled my drive, to become a part of this and then take my journey forward. So it has always started by seeing my father, then itself becoming a part of itself as a student, and then finally becoming a part of the business as an executive.
Excellent. And you're taking it global now. In fact, in the process, also doing great service to the amazing stature of our top professional education institutions, which are respected worldwide. So wonderful. Before we continue, the first thing I've always thought about this, and somehow I wanted you to tell us because I've read about it, but I want you to tell my now viewers and listeners about the origin of the name and how did you name it Alan, or how did your elders name it Alan instead of calling it Maheshwaris after the
Yeah.
family?
So it is a sometimes, a lot of parents and students, they come to us that you are so deeply rooted in India from a small town. How come do you have a name so English, which sounds so
Yes.
English? So yes, by the looks of it, it sounds English, but it has originated from our late grandfather.
Oh,
The name of our grandfather is Lakshmi Narayan Maheshwari, and with the acronyms, it sounds L.N.
oh,
So that's
lovely.
how we turned around L.N into ALLEN. It has
Excellent.
been derived from the name
Excellent.
of our late grandfather.
Excellent. Lovely. Nice thought. And as a category creator and builder in the space, Keshav, how has
Yeah.
Alan as a group grown? How has it grown? And what is the formula, or let's say secret sauce, that has made this brand grow in 35 years and win the trust of what? More than 2 million students around the world.
Yeah. So I think since we have been not, our story has started in a very humble manner. My father and my uncles, they were not professionals before they started this. This was the first business, in fact, which we have carried on till today. So I think the sheer commitment to deliver quality education to the students, that has been the prime focus for everyone till now, whoever has been involved from the family and the management team as well. And as far as you call it the secret sauce, it's very simple that to engage the best team members, the best faculty, to create the best academic pedagogies, and to develop the most exhaustive and comprehensive study material. And these are the basic three things which have catered the most to build what we have built till today. It is not the other aspect. It is not the marketing, or it is not the policies that we had for initial years, but it is just the three things that has been the
Excellent.
mode for the business. Yeah.
Excellent. Absolutely. Because it's all about empowering students to put in their best performances, not just to score great marks, but also to have wonderful careers and perform to the best of their potential. So you do. I can see that your focus was in perfectly the right places. Yes, there is some moment marketing that happens all the time.
Yeah.
We'll come to that too. But let's talk about future plans. The future that began around 2020 to 21 when Allen Overseas came into being.
Yeah. So Alan Overseas is a thought. which was started back, which was actually stemmed in me when I was in Dubai pursuing my education. And
Okay.
I was privileged to uh, teach some school graders from, post my college hours. And there I had realized that what we were exposed to in India in terms of the academic exposure, these kids do not have this same opportunity here.
Okay.
And that's where I thought that uh, our goal, which is to make every student a success story, why should it be limited just to the Indians residing in India? Why shouldn't we cater to the Indian diaspora beyond India? And that's where we decided to pursue Middle East and start our overseas journey. And
Okay.
till today, we continue to seek market opportunities for the Indian diaspora residing outside, and we are in fact witnessing a very healthy growth in the GCC market as of now.
Excellent. In fact, when you
Yeah.
spoke about the education that you received in the Middle East, in Dubai, I think uh, it was the SP Jain Global Institute, right, of Management,
Right. So,
and
yeah,
Mr. Nitish Jain also was on my podcast earlier. So
yes,
very nice coincidence, I think.
yes. I've been a student of Mr. Nitish, and it was during, in fact, the SP Jain program only that I had the opportunity to visit UAE again,
Okay.
and in fact, interact with a lot of educational leaders within the industry, and they had guided me that what works in this market and what doesn't. So, it played a crucial role in making what overseas is today.
Excellent. So you mentioned in the passing, and because part of my next question was about your priorities over the past 3 years to grow Allen overseas. You already told me you've taken it, global through the GCC. But what market opportunities did you see there that led to the birth of this idea? You did say that students they were not exposed to it, but I also perhaps I think that perhaps the GCC countries are the biggest um, pipeline of great remittances to India. So some of the most best educated people, parents, etc., are working out across, and therefore the opportunity to help them empower their children and wards perhaps might have been an opportunity. But was there any research done into that? I mean, did you have any back of the envelope thing, or was it the famous Maheshwari gut of saying, okay, there is an opportunity and we know that this is a place where we can do well, provided we put in all the wonderful pillars that have helped you become the biggest name and brand name, not just in India but worldwide now, if you look at the awareness through the web series also. But tell me, what was the opportunity? Any research behind that?
Definitely, it was a very conscious decision. And when we were set out to expand our business globally, we had Singapore and Middle East both as an option, in fact.
Okay.
And we did our market research in both the territories. And what we found, so it is not just about the Indian diaspora. In fact, it was already growing in both the territories, but the landscape in Middle East was growing at a much faster pace. It was almost at 7% CAGR at that time compared to Singapore. And the second decision that went into choosing Middle East was uh, we decided and focused on what our core competencies are and how we can play on them uh, depending on the uh, depending on the efforts that we want to put. So on these two things, I think we realized that Middle East would be the best option for us. And we talk about that 80-20 principle, the Pareto principle. So we put in 20% efforts in the Middle East and we would get 80% of the results. So that's how it was
Excellent.
decided to pursue Middle
Excellent.
East.
Excellent. So the three more physical presence kind of branches, if I may, or whatever presences internationally are all going to be in the GCC, or are you looking at your second option of Singapore also
No,
to
we are
set up?
for now we are completely focused on strengthening our presence in the Middle East only.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but it will
Wonderful.
act someday. It will act as a gateway to Africa. So we are just
Wow.
hopeful that once we pursue Middle East to our full capabilities, we would be able to teach beyond that.
Okay. Excellent. Wonderful. More strength to you. So, Alan, let's talk about digital and tech plus AI trends. It's this is the day and age, and it's been up for some time, and people are speaking about it. But I just want to ask you a very straightforward and a very open-ended question: what are the top digital and new age tech trends that keep you enthralled? Does AI and Chat GPT intervention bother you? And the usage of AI tools and applications is becoming more prevalent. How likely is it to change the way students prepare for entrance? Tell me.
So I think the industry that Alan is in, you know, we have to be up to the mark with the latest technology, the
Sure.
latest buzz which is happening around technology, and this world is of generative AI. Uh, the AI that we see today, it's so disruptive, and it is. I mean, Chat GPT is one example. Recently, we just saw what Apple has done with its Vision Pro. So every day there is some sort of disruption in technology, and whatever the tools that are available today, I think they can aid the whole process of entrance exam preparation to a larger extent.
Okay.
And it can be anything merely from just providing a very personalized experience. It can merely be anything just to focus on the most innate ability, academic ability of a student, to completely revamping the teaching methodologies. So,
Okay.
the most modern technology tools which are available as of today can help the entire learning process and create a lot of value in the lives of the students. In fact, we are also in the process of discovering different ways to leverage Chat GPT and different generative AI to both, I mean, assist the teachers as well and to help the students in the learning path.
Excellent. In fact, students need to be warned also that,
Yeah,
I mean, today it's very easy for anybody. See, Chat GPT, you can harness to bring you some, a collating of information or trends or whatever, even if they may not be very, let's say, updated because of the limitations in on what Chat GPT has been trained. But you go to you take any Chat GPT generated piece of text, whether it's an essay or a poem or a story or a whatever, and you put it on some apps, they will immediately tell you how what percent of it is AI written or generated and what percent is human generated,
yeah,
likely.
yeah,
So students and teachers also need to be aware of the fact that yes, deploy Chat GPT as a great uh, fail-safe, hard worker who can turn around things real fast, but then also ensure that the human intervention required to get the quality up and maybe beyond reproach is always there. So yeah.
totally.
Are you also looking at using AI and Chat GPT in helping teachers or students learning from it? I mean, you did answer this to quite an extent, but any specific inputs that you might have sort of wanted to put together and added to your pedagogy or your academic kind of training lessons for your teachers and instructors in terms of,
Definitely.
yeah, tell me if
Definitely.
there's.
I think, like I said, we are still discovering our way. And we have done a lot of research in terms of what is already being used as technology to cater to students versus what we would want to do. And that difference has a lot of generative AI angle attached to it,
Okay.
and that we are trying to bridge that difference. We are trying to bridge that gap in the difference by using whatever AI that we need. But still it is a long way to go, because we do not want to just suddenly and completely change the learning journey of a student. It can go either ways. We are also evolving as the tech evolves. That's how we have been handling it.
Right. So you already have a wonderful set of guide rails or guardrails in terms
Yeah,
of what to give to the students, and because you have proven deliveries and proven great careers that you help students achieve and make for themselves. But at the
yeah.
same time, you are constantly refreshing your approach and deploying, or sort of putting in or adding the best of new age tech. So which is excellent, wonderful. Right. Let's talk about family run businesses. We've seen how
Right.
the biggest of families, industrial families or industrialist families, have sort of split sometimes, sadly. But you are a second generation leader of the Maheshwari family. What is the siblings club like, if I may use that term? Do you share insights to help other youngsters running or planning to enter family businesses? You do that with through your LinkedIn, Keshav Connect,
You're right.
which is an insider's view on the life of a second gen family business leader. So, share some important insights that have stood you well. How do you all work together as a family business, pull together, and deliver such good results?
Well, family business has their own dynamics, and in especially in our case, we have the first generation, there are 4 members, and then the second generation we have 5 members. So it's a 9-member family run business, right?
Okay.
And it's not like we have different businesses within the group business, but it's a big business with different verticals, different divisions. So each one of us has their own responsibility, their roles clarified and everything. But again, it is very important to understand the dynamics of a family and the business.
Okay.
I mean, as you may call it, the siblings club. We keep on having these discussions
Okay.
that how do we, ensure that there are no conflicts. I mean, conflicts will always be there, but how do we ensure that we resolve the conflicts? How do we put the communication in place so that we every time there is a conflict arises, we get better from it. So that is very important, and within the cousins, especially, I think there is a strong drive to transform to what originated as a family business, uh, to make it more professional and professional day by day. And whatever that I share on the Keshav Connect platform,
On LinkedIn.
these on LinkedIn, yes. Uh, I share my thoughts that I learn from these discussions. I share what I learned from seeing my first generation discussing between them. So all these thoughts are a result or a summary of these issues and discussions that come.
Excellent, excellent. So if there's a there's a doubt in your mind that, okay, I mean, the whole point is ki, uh, see, one extreme of collective thinking and decision making is that what some famous, I think, was it Ambrose Bierce who said that a camel is a racehorse designed by a committee. पानी पे भाग सकता है बिना पानी रेत पे with all the everything. So the point is that how do you sometimes, when you realize that or you feel in your bones that the best way to do something is so and so, and you, who do you turn to as your sounding board on whenever you're in doubt, you know?
So, so especially at Allen, how the first generation have shaped the business is that they have created a very strong management team below them.
Okay.
And for the second generation, we have been assigned a mentor from the management team itself. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So their experience has helped us a lot wherever and whenever we have faced a bottleneck in our professional journey. Right.
Okay.
For the first generation has also been able to separate management from ownership, and that is something by far a very crucial element in family businesses, that you are able to separate the two very important aspects, the ownership and the management.
Excellent.
The last third crucial element, which we keep in mind as second generation, is that to have mutual respect for the management. Right? We do come from the family, but we have to have that respect for the management team, so that they are also very comfortable in guiding us, in mentoring us whenever we turn to them.
Wonderful. I think it's a distillation of the kind of values and the kind of cooperation that you must have seen your uh, parents and elders in the family, how they
Right.
actually sort of stood together and decided and went ahead, and their respect for their management leaders
Yes.
also. And then another important thing that I see is that it's not just entitled youngsters who said to their parents, to their fathers or uncles that I want to do this, ab main ye dekhunga. No, you are all, you I know of. are very well professionally qualified, and you also done the specialist MBA on family run businesses.
Yeah.
So absolutely, very very focused inputs, and I think that's really important because that's how you ensure that everyone, siblings, cousins, uncles, and others, and the management, of course, stay on the same page and work towards a common goal. So wonderful. Okay, tell me, Keshav, something that you really like about yourself or something you've been really proud of that not many people know about you outside the family and your immediate, management, mentors and teams. Anything?
I'll just share an anecdote with my entrance into the family business. Right.
Okay.
So before this, I was working with a company based out of Bombay, and I had the most great experience working with them. But like I said, I had my inner calling to join the business as well. But during that transition phase from leaving that particular company to joining the business, I had realized one thing, that I am not joining the business just to join the business as a second generation.
Right.
If I have to continue in the business, and if I have to contribute something to the business, it has to be very transformative. Right. Of late, what happens is that whenever a second generation comes, they join with so much passion, with so much energy, that okay, I will take this business to this direction and these heights and all that. But during that journey, they get lost into day to day and the old traditional ways of doing the business.
Okay.
So I think I can proudly say that I have been able to maintain that.
Lovely.
And I have not lost my way of taking this business to a very transformed state. And in fact, that has started last year itself, when we had professionalized the business and we had started getting in professionals, and we had did a funding round and all these things that has happened. So I have kept sight of my way, and I am in fact able now to pull my first generation out as well from the traditional way of doing and running the business, and to be more focused towards the professional side and create something which is everlasting, with or without them being in the business.
Excellent. You remind me of, the famous lines that Lord Alfred Tennyson wrote about the famous Greek hero Ulysses, where he says, "Yet all experience is an arch wherethrough gleams that untraveled world, whose margin fades forever and forever when I move." So you're always in quest of, going ahead, which is amazing. Right. Keshav, let's talk about the category you're in. A lot has been spoken about parents' obsession to make their child, sort of help them get into an engineering or a medical career, and how they go to any length to afford and try and afford premium education, supportive preparatory education for their children. What are your thoughts on it? Do you have any checks in place to ensure that students with the right educational abilities and socio-economic backgrounds, in terms of not people from, it's not a class conscious decision, it's just that, are they good enough to really take a serious stab at something like a career like this? When you admit them, what are the most important criteria for you to admit students to Allen Overseas and to Allen Career Institutes in India? Tell me about the Allen Overseas first.
So at Allen Overseas, there is a very efficient process of admitting students, right?
Okay.
But before coming to that, I would just like to say one thing, that if I'm a father or I'm a mother, or if I'm a parent, say, it is my decision that my ward has to prepare for IIT or no. I cannot just completely rely on the career institute, whichever career or coaching institute it is, right? No matter how efficient or what are the process the institute has set, to admit a student. If I have to decide, and if I want my son or my daughter to pursue engineering preparation or medical preparation, it is solely and solely within the family. It is solely and solely our decision. So we have some processes, we have some checks and balances. It is completely based on merit. It is completely based on the capabilities of the student. We take entrance tests, we take academic performance analysis of the student, and based on that, we in fact provide scholarships also for the students
Okay.
who are willing to get admitted. But like I said, we are no one to take this opportunity away from any student who's willing to prepare. Just give it a shot to prepare,
Okay.
irrespective of how much capable or not capable he or she is, right?
No, I'm saying there would always be an upside, I guess, when a student comes in
Yeah,
and maybe, if not really the real top rung institutions, they can probably get into something else which is pretty
yeah,
decent and,
right.
fulfill their career aspirations, perhaps.
Exactly,
Who
and that's
knows?
where the checks and balances come in. So our entrance tests are designed in a manner where, uh, at that very moment, we enlighten the student, telling
Hmm.
him that okay, you have to first focus on your basics first, and then maybe go for a test prep like this.
Hmm.
And for
Hmm.
that, we may not be the right choice for you.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's how that conscious decision of a parent and a student comes in, that okay, if they are telling me, they have analyzed my performance and they're telling me that I need to focus on the basics first and then I should go for the test prep, then I should go for something else and not this. So we have our checks and balances within all the uh, between all the different socio-economic backgrounds that parents have.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
And I think that is key to navigating the rigor that preparing for entrance exams entails. And, parents and
yeah,
students are also, through the entire process of speaking to them, interviewing them, the entrance tests, and then the post entrance test follow up
yeah,
meetings and interviews, etc.
yeah,
You definitely must set some expectations which are, reflected by the performance that far, so to speak.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
having trained and mentored future engineers and doctors, you may have seen that a good chunk of those who have received coaching in India go on to seek careers abroad, and this results in the brain drain. To reduce this, what is the support and infrastructure that India needs to provide, and how far have we progressed in this regard? Any views on how? I think it's been a very benign and a very caring disposition and government across the country that is trying to help students and trying to build infrastructure, whether directly or very indirectly through better educational and technical institutes. And it's going to be a long haul because India is sort of trying to bounce out of COVID by increasing infrastructure. And the kind of professionals that you prepare are the ones who are going to be key to it. So, what is your view? I mean, what is the support and infrastructure in professional technical education that India needs to provide, and how far have we progressed in this record? In this regard,
Of course, brain drain is a concern, and we, as the country, have to reduce it. It is not just about us. It is not just about Alan doing it by preparing students. It is a collective effort that we all will have to put in,
sure.
right? The government will have to play a crucial role. And of late, I think the new universities, the IITs, the medical entrance, the medical colleges, which are coming up at different states, at different cities, they have been sort of able to put some sort of talent back in the country, right? When I was preparing back in 2015, 2013 to 2015, I had realized that half of my batch also had uh, a second option already planned for themselves, and it was not in India, it was in fact abroad. And that has changed over the years.
Okay.
Today, when we go in a class and when we talk about IIT or a medical college in India, the students are very passionate. So there have been significant efforts that we are seeing, but at the same time, it is not just about opening an IIT or medical college. It is beyond that,
Okay.
right? Even the engineers that an IIT produce need to have enough opportunities in the field, in their respective field, in fact,
Right.
so that they can compare at the first place that what they are getting here is as good as what they can get outside India, right? And I think uh, as far as these opportunities are concerned, the opportunities beyond the college, beyond the universities, that is something where India has to focus on. right?
Excellent.
That is that is somewhere, uh, businesses like ours, that is somewhere,
They can focus on.
businesses
Yeah.
like, yeah, that is somewhere businesses are like ours can focus on and create a lot of value for them, so that they will feel that irrespective of what academic background we are coming from, there is an opportunity for us which will reward us in the same manner that, an opportunity outside India can reward us.
Excellent. And perhaps you can inject one more little section or thought process or way of thinking in your students' curriculum or whatever suggestions that you give them about wanting to give back to the country and serving it. So once they get a seat in the best premium, most premium space, which will really make the best careers and best professionals out of them, technical professionals and medical professionals, they might want to say, I want to stay back and I want to do something really great for the country. And I'm sure it's a very slow process, organic one, but I'm sure that Allen Overseas and Allen Career Institute are doing
It
that.
has, just to add to that, it has already started
Okay.
to happen. At Allen, if I have to speak, there have been so many students
Hmm.
now who have graduated from us, did pursue their engineering and medical, and now have joined back us as faculty
Oh,
members. you
excellent,
know
excellent.
so they have left that dream of pursuing something, bigger outside India, but they have associated themselves to this cause, in fact,
Hmm.
and that cause which, resides in the core of India, right?
Lovely, lovely,
So we
excellent.
have been seeing all these students coming back to us
Hmm.
as, teachers, as different members of the team.
Very nice, very nice. That's laudable indeed. And when people, well qualified people who actually passed out and got into the IITs through coaching at Allen Career Institute, when they come back after their successful careers, they are like actually walking the talk of serving, the nation or the country that made them what they are today. So excellent.
Exactly.
Right, Keshav. Now, a couple of personal questions. Okay. So, Keshav, my question now is: what are the leadership qualities that you emulate as one of the key leaders of the business or the businesses or the verticals that Allen Overseas and Allen Career Institute? Please tell us a bit about your inspiration. What drives you, and what do you think? What do you think is the most or are the most important things to sort of remember and be guided by, and the talk to walk on?
Well, I strive hard to be dedicated every day, to be more adaptive to the situations, to the work culture that we have, and I keep pushing myself to be very strong in my work ethic,
Okay.
professionally, because I believe the journey that we have started, the Allen journey we speak about
Hmm.
over the last 35 years, and as I call it, Allen 2.0, which we have embarked upon.
Lovely.
I think that requires a lot of, dedication on a daily basis, right, from us, because our space, especially, is changing so rapidly. Every day we see some new change, some new player, some new company entering, exiting, doing so many things, doing this, doing that.
Hmm.
So to be 100%, in what you do, to be dedicated, is very crucial. And by far, of late, I've realized this is the most important quality that I need to possess to
Excellent.
be up to the mark in what I do.
Right. So it's single-minded dedication and focus,
Yes.
and looking at today as the first day of the rest of my life, so to speak.
Yeah.
Excellent,
Yes.
excellent. Right. So, with all the stress, with all the, well, not stress really in a negative way, but with all the priorities and the pressing urgencies of, how a lot of even ed techs that are now trying to spread their feet on ground, a lot of competition happens. We won't go there, but let's talk about the fact that I want to tell my listeners and viewers that you are a musician as well. So, can you tell us a bit about it? Your favorite genre of music, the routine you follow to keep in touch with the art form. How often do you practice for it? I know you like to sing, and we'll come to a little bit more of that too. But tell me, answer this one first.
No, indeed, music is a passion for me,
Okay.
and I've been doing this now for almost 15 years.
Wow.
I'm not professionally trained as a singer, but music runs in our family,
Okay.
and it has started with my late grandfather, and now I'm continuing it. Uh, I enjoy all kinds of music. I listen to Hindi music, I listen to indie, I listen to English, I listen to anything that fits nicely into my ears.
Okay.
Right, but when it comes to singing, I am mostly about Hindi Bollywood songs.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where my niche is. I love semi classical, I love light music, I love to sing something which catches attention of the crowd, which is something not so typical and so difficult to sing, but something which everyone can sing along with me
Oh,
in the crowd.
lovely. Lovely.
That's my style.
Excellent.
And I do sing on a daily basis. I play guitar. I do play some other instruments as
Oh,
well.
you play the guitar. What?
And
You play rhythm or you play lead, Spanish, Hawaiian?
I play rhythm.
Oh,
Rhythm.
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. What are the instruments?
I have learned
Oh,
tabla
wow.
as a kid, and I have sort of learned the keyboard as a kid as well. But the only go-to instrument for me now is my guitar, and there's not been a day since I think 7 years or 8 years that I have not played a guitar and made myself calm and made myself feel relaxed.
We also want to get calm and feel relaxed. So why don't you reach out for your guitar with your right or your left hand? I'm sure it's out of frame. And why don't you just strum, play, sing something for us? It'll be really, really wonderful if you can do that.
Sure, I'll have to get the guitar.
Okay, sure. We'll
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
So while you get your guitar, let me just tell my listeners, my viewers, that I'm speaking to Keshav Maheshwari of Allen Overseas, who's doing an amazing job with expanding the Allen Career Institutes. And Allen is truly doing amazing work. Seven institutes internationally already in the GCC space, and three more coming soon, and those also will be in the GCC countries. So, all right, was that enough of a filler? Yes, apparently it was, and here is Keshav back. So, Keshav, go ahead.
Sure. Well, this is the first time that I am doing it on a
Wow,
podcast,
amazing.
so I hope
Yeah, you can push your chair back a
something that
little
you
so
all.
we can see you strumming. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Pavan, this is a very recent favorite of mine, and it's by Arijit
Yeah,
Singh. He's also my favorite singer
wonderful.
lately.
Okay,
So I've practiced this a lot, so I hope you
I'm
like it.
sure we will. Go ahead, please.
छूने से तेरे हाँ तेरे फीकी रुतों को रंग लगे तेरी दिशा में क्यों चलने से मेरे पैरों को पंख लगे रहा मेरे काम का जग सारा है बस तेरे नाम का ही गुजारा उलझ के ना सुलझ ना सकूं जुबानियां तेरी झूठी ही सच लागे तू मेरा कोई ना होके भी कुछ लागे अपना बना ले पिया अपना बना ले पिया अपना बना ले मुझे अपना बना ले पिया.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you ever so much. Really, really very nice. And yes, you are gifted indeed.
Well, I'm trying hard
No, no,
to
yeah.
learn it.
No, no. Excellent, excellent. This is MVP, the Master's Voice podcast from Mediabrief.com. And with me is Keshav Maheshwari of Allen Overseas. Keshav, why should aspirants choose Allen?
See, I think Alan just does not stand for preparing your child for an entrance into an engineering or a medical college. It stands beyond that. We are not called coaching classes. We are not called Allen Tuition Center. We are not called Allen Classroom classes. We are called as Allen Career Institute.
Excellent.
right? When you talk about career, you talk about when you don't only talk about engineering or medicine, you talk about having a life which is rewarding, right? You talk about having a journey which is so successful irrespective of the field you are in. Of late, when we see that parents come to us for enrolling their children, they tell us sometimes that sir, हम जानते हैं कि शायद इसका IIT में नहीं होगा, बट ये अगर आपके साथ पढ़ लेगा 2 साल तो कुछ बन जाएगा जिंदगी।
क्या बात है।
That is something that we work for. That is something that we stand by. That, to transform the journey of a student in a manner where, irrespective of what career path he or she chooses, he can excel at it. Right. That is
excellent.
The idea.
And you've successfully transformed the lives of more than 2 million students worldwide by helping them achieve their highest academic potential. So, most thanks to you, Keshav. So, excellent reply that, Keshav. Most thanks to you, as I said, and your wonderful team at Allen Overseas. I'm sure that even as the competition in the space heats up both offline and online, Allen would likely be the first choice for every smart aspirants, IITs, and medical across India and the rest of the markets where you're actively focused on growth. So, among the several excellent things that you are doing, I really like the fact that you're also an ambassador for the excellence of India's top tier professional, technical, medical education institutes in India and across the world. So, Keshav, I've really enjoyed my conversation with you. Lots of insights and guidance and inspiration for entrepreneurs, students, parents, particularly second-gen leaders of business entities that are family created and family run. You and your immediate family and the other professionals you have in your teams, you've sort of written the manual for running a business fruitfully in unison, towards common goals as a truly kindred family of professionals. So, Keshav, now let me ask you. I told you how much I enjoyed this conversation. What did you feel about your chat with me today on MVP, the Master's Voice podcast from Mediabrief?
Well, it's an honor to have interacted with you, Mr. Pawan. You are an industry veteran, and I have learned so much today on the Master's Voice podcast. Thank you for enlightening me with so many ideas that you have had as experience. I am also very privileged, that I have shared the space with leaders and visionaries who have shared the same wisdom and expertise on this forum. I look forward to hearing from countless different podcasts that you will do with inspiring entrepreneurs in the forthcoming episodes of MVP. And I hope we continue to share, learn, grow together in this path of knowledge.
Wow, you are very kind, very gracious, Keshav. Thank you for being so gracious with your praise. And thanks also once again to Mangala Bhattacharya and Aparna Desikan of AdFactors PR Bengaluru for having made this interaction possible.
Thank you, Pawan.
The remarkable Keshav Maheshwari, Managing Director, Allen Overseas, was my distinguished young guest on this episode of MVP, the Master's Voice podcast. I hope you too were inspired by Keshav and benefited from the insights he shared. I absolutely did. Till we meet again in the next episode of MVP, the Master's Voice podcast series on Mediabrief.com. This is your host and friend Pawan Chawla saying, take care, stay safe, bye-bye.